Hello, my name is Ibrahim Kamara, and I will be talking to you about gun control. According to the CDC, in 2018, there were 39,740 firearm related deaths in the United States. That's about 109 people dying from a firearm related injury every day. 6 out of every 10 of the deaths were firearm suicides, and more than 3 out of the 10 were firearm homicides. As bad as this stat is, it has only increased within the last 2.5 years. Gun control is one of the most highly controversial topics in America today. People believe that there are some benefits to having guns. Even though that might be the case, the cons vastly outweigh the pros. We always hear about gun related crimes such as school shootings, mass shootings, armed robberies, and gun trafficking. All these crimes do is simply make America an unsafe place. And to combat this crisis, we must implement stricter gun control laws, more extensive background checks, and declining the sale of guns to anyone who either has a mental disability or a criminal history. Guns create unnecessary problems such as accidental suicides or jail time for carrying an unlicensed gun and increases the risk of a tragedy happening. It is easy for anyone to get their hands on a gun, despite being mentally fit or unfit. If we implement stricter gun control laws, we will not only be saving ourselves, but we will save more people and create a safer America. People who have guns might not always have the right intentions. For example, I have this gun here, but you don't know if I could use it for good or for bad. And because of that, people can never be sure of what's going to happen every time they go out. School, on the other hand, is a place where children can be in a safe environment, surrounded by friends and trusted adults. But guns ruin that. According to since 2009, there have been 288 school shootings in the United States. The shooters range from students with disabilities to ex-convicts. School shootings leave the students with trauma forever. In February 2018, a school shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, left 17 people dead and 14 people wounded. The teen shooter used an AR-15 semi-automatic style weapon, the same weapon used during the 2012 shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Emma Gonzalez, who was a survivor, continued to strongly support stricter gun control laws with the hopes of having a positive result. Emma was heroic in her efforts to encourage a serious change which attempted to focus more on benefiting others than the actual guns involved in the violent acts. Emma's ambition and attention to the Never Again movement left people thinking and wondering about what significant changes need to take place. During a time of healing and mourning, Emma Gonzalez showed courage when just 3 days later she was able to gather enough strength to publicly advocate for gun control. This is just one example of a survivor bringing awareness to the gun control debate, but still our representatives are scared of change despite the loss of millions of American lives. Mass shootings have also become common in recent years due to faulty background checks. We need to implement more extensive background checks because what's the point of doing a regular background check and finding out that the buyer has a mental illness and the seller is still giving him the gun? For example, Jared Launer's history showed that he had been in trouble with the law and was mentally unstable. He passed a background check and legally obtained a deadly semi-automatic weapon, killing 6 people and wounding 13 others. According to the FBI, studies have shown an increase in active shooter incidents between 2000 and 2013. The average number of incidents rose from 6.4 a year in the first 7 years of the study to an average of 16.4 in the second year period. In subsequent studies, the FBI recorded 20 active shooter incidents per year in 2014 and 2015, followed by 20 incidents in 2016, 30 in 2017, and 27 in 2018. Mass shootings could happen at religious sites, nightclubs, and random gatherings. The point being, wherever a person may be, they will always be looking behind their backs, being extra cautious, or maybe you might think someone is suspicious, which could lead to racial prejudice. A study on mass shootings in April 18 shows that since 1982, there have been over 100 mass shootings. Weapons mass shooters tend to go with are semi-automatic weapons with high magazine capacities. These weapons are military grade and should not even be in the possession of the common people. These weapons are used by the military when they go to war. How is a common folks allowed to obtain such a deadly weapon and cause terror and fright in the streets where there should be peace and tranquility? People who justify having guns say that it protects them, so they keep it hidden just in case of any unfortunate incident happening. Of course, people are entitled to their opinions, but they have to look at the facts. People might think that they are decreasing the risk of a potential home robbery, and potential is a key word, while you are increasing the risk of children finding the gun and causing harm to themselves or other members of the family. About 2 million children in the United States live with a gun that is loaded and unlocked in its cabinet. According to a study conducted by injury.research.edu, among children, the majority, which is 89%, of unintentional shooting deaths occur in the home. Most of these deaths occur when children are playing with a loaded gun in the parent's absence. Since 2018, about 600 children have lost their lives due to accidental suicide. According to Is There a Gun in the House? Dr. Barondis says the risk of suicide with a gun in the home is 5 times as high as if there isn't one, and the risk of homicide increased threefold. Not only do guns harm children in the household, it could affect the wife in a domestic violence way. There are multiple examples of an abusive husband who comes home drunk and attacks his wife. According to Stover, one prominent study found that is nearly three-quarters of battered women's household that contained a gun, the abusive partner had used the gun against the abused victim by threatening to shoot and kill her, or by actually shooting at her. Of women alive today, 4.5 million report that an intimate partner threatened them with a gun, and 1 million women reported being shot at. In conclusion, guns are a danger to society and should be regulated because people who have mental disabilities and have access to guns could potentially lead to disaster happening. Also, guns that are used as self-defense weapons in the household should be confiscated because you never know what will happen. The children could find the gun that could be led to an unfortunate incident happening, or a woman might be subject to a violent domestic violence incident. By implementing stricter gun control laws and providing incentives for people who turn in their guns in exchange for money, America will become a safer place, a place where we and our children feel safe. Don't you want to live in the peace? Don't you want to live in peace not having to worry about any gun-related crimes? Contact your local representative and demand change. America is a democracy, and it is our right to express how we feel. Thank you.